District 2,
Present.
District 3,
Present.
District 4.
Present.
I'll move the invocation and have a pledge from Mr. Becker. Dear Lord, we thank you for having us here tonight to do the business of the county. We pray for your guidance as we conduct this business and pray for your guidance for all elected officials as we go about doing the work of the people. We pray that we keep that in mind as we do so. We thank you for this time that you have given us. We thank you for our health and our families. In your name we pray. Amen.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
First item is approval of the agenda. We have 5 items, with 2 having several items beneath it, sub-items. So we have a motion to approve the agenda as presented. Motion, we have a second. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Those opposed say nay. No one signed up to speak this evening, so we'll move on to the first item. The first item is the software for the jail. Sheriff?
Over the past year, Rocky and I have been looking at several software programs for the jail and for our office and for dispatch. Jeff Robinson is one of our reserves who is basically our computer whiz when we want to know something. He's been helping us get these people in and they've been showing us some of their software and stuff, and we've come to the conclusion that this is, for the money, this is the best one. It's a high dollar program that we're not paying full price for. And each, the jail, the office software, and the CAD system's all integrated together. It works all as one. I'm asking for help to help put software into the jail and help me buy some computers for the cars, and I will pay for the rest. There is some maintenance fees, year 2 and year 3 from there on, that will need to be paid, and there are also some fees to be paid for our cards for the computers, which I can handle. But if you look through your packets and stuff, the one thing is, Jeff told me well over a year ago, Jeff Arnold told me well over a year ago that we have to get off the AS400 out of the courthouse, because if it breaks down, we lose everything we've got. There's no one to work on it, there's no parts for it, there's no way of fixing it. So we've got to do that, and they're going to be able to pull all the information that's in the AS400 and move it into this new system, as well as all of our jail information, all of our papers, and this software, like I said, all works together. And if a deputy stops someone out here and dispatch puts his name in, it's going to tell all the history that the sheriff's department's been involved with that person or that address. So it's a big safety factor issue with it too. I mean, it's going to help as far as safety goes with our officers and stuff. The part I'm asking for y'all is the jail's about $37,500, and then a little help on the computers, which was roughly around $45,000. If y'all could help us with that.
Any questions or comments?
How quick are we wanting to, what date are we looking at getting this started?
Well, now they gave us kind of and I don't want to use the word, but it's the only way I know how to use an ultimatum. They're going to give us $6,000 worth of equipment, plus they were going to charge us $7,000 for training. And we've talked them into, since I'm buying a product from them, they're going to do the training for free.
Good.
But now they wanted us to sign a contract rather quickly to get those 2 savings.
Right.
So we're looking at saving around $13,000 or so. The quicker we can get it. I don't remember the exact date. You remember? I think it might have been August the 13th, but I'm not 100% sure. And we applied for a grant. Actually, Jeff done the grant for us also. We got turned down, and I don't know of any other grants out there that'll help us pay for this.
You and I spoke briefly about this. The county's part, as far as the money goes, do you have any idea of when it would be, we would need to pay?
Well, I can pay, 75% has to be paid up front. I can pay that. Y'all can reimburse me whenever you want to, within reason.
What, do you know what the annual maintenance costs as far as?
$7,000 for the whole thing. Now, we've already got $5,000 a year that's set aside for the jail software that we're paying. So there's $5,000 of that $7,000 right there.
Okay.
So the other $2,000 a year would just be paying for the CAD system and the software in the office.
We would stop paying on this current system?
Yes,
Which,
they would pull all their stuff out after they download the information into their system, and we would return it to them.
That 7,000, you see that as a necessity, or do they make you do that?
Both. I mean, if it breaks down, we've got to have somebody that can fix it. Most of the work, it's my understanding, they're in what state?
Utah.
They're in Utah. Well, we may have a phone number we call Utah. They can get online and actually do the work from there to here. If it's a computer issue, is my understanding as far as software goes. Jeff Mike can enlighten you on a lot more of that. I mean, this is his business. This is what he does. He's not making a penny off of this. And he's helped us, look at all these systems. And I mean, we've been doing this for well over a year. And this is the one we've actually decided to use. We looked at the second one that I like, just for software for the office is well over $100,000. So, I mean, these people like their software programs.
The $5,000 that we have, that we're paying already, is it contracted monthly, or is it,
yeah, that,
can we just stop paying it?
I don't see why we couldn't.
what's the name?
There was no agreement with them other than the fact, this is several years ago, they came in, Avion. And they wanted to use us, basically, they would give us all the hardware if we would let them use our jail to build a software program for them to sell. So over the years, we've gotten several $1,000s worth of computers and stuff from them. And they developed this software, but it didn't really kick off, I think, like they wanted it to, and nobody's buying it. And it really doesn't do everything we want it to do.
Just the firm out of Huntsville.
Yes.
It's
Yes.
$5,000 a month.
You're paying that out of your budget?
Yeah. Yes, it's in the jail budget.
Right,
Yeah.
over the jail budget.
Yeah, for the jail, that's where it's at. It's in the jail budget.
Sheriff, do you feel like us participating in this amount, the citizens will be better served with this?
Absolutely. There's no question about that. Right now, if you get on the radio, if we get a call, in a community, we have to find the car that's closest. With this system, as far as the dispatch goes, it's gonna show them on the screen where this car's at, who's the closest person. It's gonna save a whole lot of time as far as response times and waiting on people to answer. And it's gonna save a lot of time, whatever they do in the field, in their car. If you, just as for an instance, if you make a DUI and you arrested a guy and he's sitting in the back seat and you're sitting there waiting on the record. Well, while you're sitting there, you can do your arrest report in your car. Get to the jail, all you gotta do is go to a computer and it all comes back up. So they don't, whatever time they spent working this case up, waiting on the record, is the time they save sitting in the jail. They'll go back out on the road. That's just one instance,
And that's a lot of time, I've noticed.
Yeah,
They have to
it
spend a lot
can
of
be.
time.
Now, Scottsboro has a very similar system already, don't they?
I believe so. Everybody's going, we're way behind when it
Yeah.
comes to computer. We're way behind. We're still pen and paper on everything. Just about. And this all integrates also, one of our secretaries has to, every day has to enter I know reports, incident reports, and send them to Montgomery. The deputy can actually do this, put it in the computer. All she's got to do is go through it and approve it, and then it goes on to Montgomery. It saves her time, so she can do other things. It's a great system, we believe. And there's not one in the state of Alabama. I know there's several agencies outside of Alabama that has them, and I know the company probably wants to get in Alabama so they can maybe try to sell their product to some other agencies. So that may be why we're getting such a good deal on it. I don't know. Other than, Jeff being friends with the guy that runs the business.
And it works with the system also we just put in at the jail.
Do what now?
It works with the system we put in at the jail.
No. It's going to replace the system.
No, I mean the phone system.
He's talking about the phone system.
Oh, yeah, it'll hook up to that too.
Yeah.
Yes. And it just tells us a lot of history. If you get a call on somebody out here on the mountain, and they have visited the jail last week, it's gonna tell you that before you get there. You know, it just gives you a lot of history, which is, the more the officer knows before he gets on the scene, the lot safer it is. It's gonna tell them if they got a pistol permit. It's gonna tell them if we've ever served them any papers, or, you know, past arrests, of course, but, you know, it tells a lot of stuff that we have no idea. You know, at nighttime, of course, daytime, you have to call and ask. This will be automatic. I think it's a very good system, and I'd like to have some help, you know, purchasing it, because we've got to bring the sheriff's department up to date.
Other questions or comments?
This should help too on radio, you know, a lot of rural areas, it's hard to get good reception, I've noticed, and this will help, you know, them being pulled up, because a lot of them, they can't even hear dispatch, I think this.
Well, a lot of times you'll hear officers repeat address, give me the address again,
Yeah,
because first thing you usually get is, I need you to be 1084 to an address, and then they explain the call. Well, by the time they get to the end of the call, they've done forgot the address. This will be flashed up on the screen, and they'll right where they're going, gives them a map to where they're going. I mean, it's a really good, really nice thing.
Any
I
other
left out anything?
Well, one safety issue, Sheriff,
that we hadn't mentioned, and of course, we hope nothing like this ever happens, but if we ever have a possibility where the deputy's on a call or he's out making a traffic stop, and we don't know where he's at, we can find him.
Yeah.
I mean, if he's on the side of the road hurt somewhere or in a fight, needs help, we can find him. We know where he's at.
And Rocky and I can actually monitor the cars from at home, on our computers at home if we want to. Or anything like that.
Anything else? Can you get a breakdown of the cost you're asking for initially, and then also the annual amount?
Did you not get one of those?
On the back, the back sheet.
I don't know if I gave, did I give you one?
I don't know what we're asking for. And then,
no, okay, that's what he needs.
Pages 5, 6, and 7.
okay.
Do y'all need another one for John or anything later? I got an extra one
But,
too,
well,
since I've already printed it.
and what's the total level?
All the way at the back.
Oh, okay.
It's like 83, 204, 2.
I'll take one,
All right.
And what about the continuing cost? That
It's,
is other maintenance?
Yes. And this is what it costs per year per car outlet. I think I can do that on That's my plan.
Any other questions or comments? How do we want to, you said the 13th, but we need to take some action next week.
That's what they told us. I think maybe Jeff can extend it a week or two if we have to. I mean, if you want to do some research or anything, if you want to try to find some grant money, that's fine.
If there's no objection, we can place this on the agenda for next week. If we find something that may hold it off, we can wait, but that way, if nothing else, we can put it. And my recommendation would be to work out something, like you said, where we pay this either in installments, our part of it, give it to you at a couple times in the future.
That's fine with me. I'll pay the whole thing, and then y'all can do that with me. We won't have to worry with them about it.
We can discuss that at the meeting next Monday. We can talk about this. Any other questions or comments on this? Any objection to proceeding that way? Okay, we'll place this then on the agenda for next Monday night. Okay, next item, engineer, Mr. Widener. The first item is regarding the Abigail Lane subdivision.
Yes, I'm gonna let Ms. Manning handle that for us.
I've been mainly dealing with Mr. Butler on this. This, as I was telling you before the meeting, this is strictly for the subdivision. Our subdivision regulations are set up to where you approve the subdivision of the land first, and the road is separate. You would approve it at a later time separately once it was built and after like a year maintenance period. But this road in particular, they do not intend for it to be taken over by the county. Mr. Butler is here. who's actually developing a subdivision. They want this to remain a private road. It's stated on the plat that this will remain a private road. This is strictly a subdivision of this land into 4 lots. You can look at the plat. 2 years ago, a variance, several things you have a copy of, was approved by the previous commission. This was before we had ever even seen a plat, anything like that. This was at the very beginning. Mr. Butler came to them and asked for these variances, and they approved it 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago. Me and him has been working on this plat for a long time, and I think we finally got it, everything fixed, the description's right, went over it again and again. I think we have it all set, everything's good. His road is not built at this time. He's starting that, and he is aware at this time he can't sell the lots yet. The only way he can sell the lots at this point is if the road is completed, or he puts a bond, 150% of what it would cost to build the road. And this is just to ensure that if that road does not get built, we can cash that bond in and go build the road ourselves, so the people will have a good road to their property. We went through all the steps. One of the steps is 17 days before this meeting, I have to notify all the adjoining landowners and utilities that are involved. We have done that, and they have been notified by letter that it would be discussed here today. I've had one call from a lady, and it really wasn't concerning his subdivision. It was more concerning the road that the subdivision is on. And I didn't expect her here. Like I said, it wasn't even, she didn't have a problem with the subdivision itself. But they were made aware that it would be discussed here today.
As I understand it, we have to have a public hearing, or we've announced a public hearing, so we'll proceed with that shortly, but before we do that, any questions or comments from the commission?
Have all the requirements been met for the subdivision?
Yes, sir.
When's the public hearing?
The public hearing is now.
Right, during this meeting, since we were already having a work session, we notified them that if anybody had any problems, they could show up here today with any concerns.
Sure, may not know that. How do they do, like 911 address, got the names, a private road?
Appreciate it.
I'm not sure about that.
I think the 911 board issues those directions.
I guess the name of that private road. And that was one of the things in the variances, he had intended on having a gate up and putting mailboxes at the end, at the gate.
Yeah, sure.
Early on, we were looking at possibly a more narrow road. County suggested we make it a wider road. And with that, with my understanding, Secretary, that we could put mailboxes down that road along with trash pickup, and talking to the water department, all the water meters will be down that road as well. So, there will be a gate more or less left open, but it would remain a private road. I would ask the commission, and this is just something, here in the variance process, because we were originally looking at a more narrow road, we're looking at the county never taking it over, and which is how this stands right now, because it is a gravel road, which is what we got the variance for. But I would like to leave room, and I don't want to be shut down based on this, because this is what would cause y'all to say, decline this approval. I would like to ask that if we did bring the road up to county standards with the tar and gravel and pavement, that at that time the county sees fit that we take it over. Only because we've already met all the other requirements with everything else. The reason originally for not having the county take it over was because we were making it more of a lane, a small drive for these 4 residents. And this is property owned by me. It's actually across from my house, and the only reason really for me buying it was to get logged where we live, where my family grew up as part of my family, whole family farm, family backside of the mountain. So anyway, my original and the county stopped me from doing it was I was putting a driveway in there for these lots to be sold back in the back. And so when that happened, the county stopped and said, hey, this is classified by Jackson County as a subdivision. So without having easement, each lot having 60 feet, that's considered a subdivision, which is where we are now. And, you know, the approvals up front, it just took a long time to get back to this point, knowing that we were gonna have to put a road that was 20-something feet wide off of a county road that was 16 feet wide. Just for me to conceptually say, hey, you know what, I've got to just do this because that's the only way it's gonna get approved. And, so anyway, just a little history about it, but my understanding was that because we are doing the wider garbage trucks, the whole reason for doing wider garbage trucks and having the cul-de-sac at the end is so that they could turn around, so garbage trucks would be going down the road, and they'll, would be, my boxes would be.
And he does have that on there, the necessary width, the cul-de-sac, all of that is,
This remains a private road. The garbage trucks will, the garbage have to be brought to the end. We will not go on the private road to put garbage, correct?
That's correct, yes. If it does remain a private road, the garbage trucks and I'm assuming the mail folks will not travel it also.
The stop, it will be at the beginning of
Have
where
to be
it
at the
started.
beginning of it. Yes, that's correct, yes.
You are aware of that, Mr. Butler?
So that's why that's what I was just getting at. I felt like under the impression the reason for the width and everything was for garbage truck to turn around and for mail to be delivered and all those things that were necessary. That's why I had to do the width. And so I was not aware. I wasn't thinking that things would be a little different. You know, the meters would be down that road. That's,
I believe, I hope you check a little bit, but I believe your meters will be at the beginning of this cut too. I'm not sure that the utility people will carry them within there on a private drive. Did you make sure of that?
I talked to the Jackson County
Okay.
Authority about it.
All right.
They seem to act like the one that would be down the road.
Okay.
So are you requesting that this be made a county road? Is that what you're,
No.
Not at this
No, not
time.
this time.
We need to specify that it be brought up to our standard, and when we approve this, make that
This-
specification.
What this is just strictly approving his subdivision of land. It is not the road.
Right,
You're not voting anything about the road.
okay.
It's just the
And
subdivision
that's
of
the
his land.
subdivision that we're.
Yes, and the health department, I forgot to mention this, I have the original plat back at the office. The health department has signed off on it like we require. Mike Ashburn has looked at it and gave us a letter concerning the flood zone ordinance. All that has been signed and is okay.
Okay.
We're good with them.
If ever it becomes a county road, he would have to go through another process.
Yes, he would have to come back to us. It has to be built to county standards, and then he would have to come back before you and ask you to accept it as a county road.
My understanding, and I'm just, you know, I'm asking, I guess, more than anything, but with us bringing up the width and us getting the variance for the gravel surface on a private road, would that not qualify us just having the variance just for this road, even though it's not a county road, say a private subdivision for garbage trucks?
Well, it's a liability issue, you know, county trucks and that type of stuff on private roads, you know, that's the whole issue.
And just asking about that, we have to go through the county to even build this road from the bottom. It has to be built to county specifications minus the paving surface.
Our insurance, though, I mean, they wouldn't pay like, if the county garbage truck, correct me if I'm wrong, went down to the end of this private road to pick up trash and ran over somebody or somebody pulled out and run over something, our insurance would not pay.
And I would say that, again, the county has asked me for a right of way, so that gets given to the county, even though this is a private road. That is on the plat, that if there's a right of way on there, they're asking for the deed, even if it's not a county road. I don't understand how that's.
Now, I see what you're saying.
Yeah, it's like.
No, we're not asking for his right of way. It's just, it's recorded as a deed of a public right of way so that those 4 people are allowed to use that road without Mr. Butler being able to stop them from using the road. That allows them the same rights to that right of way. To share, it's a shared easement right now, that's what it is. And
The
we're
right of way,
just-
the right of way really pertains to utilities, is what I read on the thing, correct?
They can use the, yes, they can use the right of way, for the utilities. Now, they have to have that right also to go in there, but as far as we're concerned, it will not be a county right of way at this point until they come and ask the county to consider taking it. And the county don't have to take it if they don't want to. That's the commission's choice. But, it will be shared by those 4 individuals that purchase those 4 plats of land.
Well, the gentleman's concern is garbage pickup, and we're not in the metal business, but garbage pickup. What does he need to do to be able to give those property owners?
I believe, and Charity, correct me if I'm wrong, I believe the variance addressed that, and did variance address garbage cans?
I didn't see it.
Yeah, I think it did, and I'm calling it from memory. I think it addressed the garbage can, because that was brought up,
It should have,
and I think,
should have included it.
In approving the subdivision, is the road required to be a certain standard for us to approve the subdivision? Because that's part of what we're here.
it's required, right now at this point, as Charity says, it's really not concerning the road, but yes, it is required that the road be built to a certain standard. That's a state law, not a Jackson County law, and he alluded
So
to.
that's why the road has to be built to that standard.
It has to be built to
because
that
it's a
standard to
subdivision.
protect those folks, and we're charged with making sure that occurs.
Right,
But
just to
not
protect
maintained.
the property owners who will buy these lots, to
Yeah.
make sure they have a decent road built there.
Right of way, whose hands, I mean, and my fault, man, I think this is just so different from normal,
Yeah.
that I'm just sitting here trying to wrap my head around it. The right of way right now is in whose hands? Who owns that section of road?
Who's responsible for the right of way once the subdivision has been approved?
When this becomes a public road, if the people inside that
The property
subdivision,
owners.
the property owners will be responsible for the maintenance and upkeep of that right of way and that road.
And that's one of the things your variance said, that the landowners had to sign
Yeah,
something.
It spells all that out in black
Yeah,
and white.
It written so on their deeds, correct, if they have a shared easement.
Reads on our variance, I hadn't seen their deeds. We got a plat in our variance, and that plat would supersede, that would be the deed.
What I'd like to do, if we could, is get the Public Works Committee to sit down, if we could, we'd set a meeting with you and Mr. Widener and Charity, sit down and kind of go over some of the specifics of this before next week. Can we do that so that you can get a better understanding and you have a good understanding of our part? Make sure this is the way that you want to proceed before we do something, even if we need to push that a little bit later, we can hold off on that. Go ahead and proceed with the public hearing as it has been announced. If we make any changes, we will have to have another public hearing, is that correct?
You major changes, yeah.
We can go ahead with, would you feel okay with that? That be suitable for you?
Yes, it would be. Again, the right of way is public.
Actually pertains to the landowners, the ones that are purchasing your
I
land.
understand we'd be responsible for maintenance
Yes,
on that road.
Public use, just not public, not county, not a county road.
You could close the gate on it. It's private road. It's shared, it's a shared right of way.
Right.
But if you come back and pave it and ask the county to take it into inventory, then you couldn't have a gate on it. So at that point, it would be public.
Got it. And so, I guess the reason that I was being told the width of the road and the cul-de-sac at the end was for county trucks and garbage trucks to be able to turn around at the end of the road. So I just wanted to, I'm trying to understand this because this has been a long time to this point. I just wanted to, my understanding that by the width of this thing was to ensure that they would be able to do that in the town. We'll bring it back out. I know the variance, in the first place, the variance, we talked about bringing the trash cans to the end road. But in the variance, in the first place, we also talked about a more narrow road, which the narrow part of the road was not.
I think if you can sit down and discuss it, I think you'll be able to get a layout is the way it is, or if it needs to be that way, they said it does.
Thank you.
So we do need to have the public hearing on this. We'll go ahead and open up that public hearing as it was advertised and ask if there's anyone else who'd like to speak for or against this item. Anyone to speak for or against this item? Anyone to speak for or against this item? Okay, if we have none, we'll close the public hearing and we can proceed. We can place this on the agenda for next Monday night. If we can't get that meeting set up in time, we can always vote on that until we're able to do that. And of course, let us know what you feel needs to be done. If you don't want to do it this way, we need to halt and proceed another way, however it needs to be done. Okay, any other questions or comments from the commission?
We are not trying to be a hindrance to you, I want you to understand that. We just want to make sure that we're on the same page. I just want to make sure that.
And if you would, leave your information, or do we have information? Okay, so we can set something up. Okay. Okay, anything else before we proceed? Okay, next item is regarding the Durapatcher bid.
Joe called about 3 months ago, we opened bids on a Durapatcher machine. I'm sure y'all are familiar with this. One like we've already got that we put on one of our old garbage trucks. I spoke to Mr. Hodges a couple of weeks ago. The company that actually did that, like I said, it's been over 90 days, going close to 4 months, I believe, right in Hodges. I was going to check today. But, of course, I had to put up a bid bond, which was $4,000 in this case, and they called and asked us if, they've got that money out there with us, and was asking if we was planning on purchasing a Durapatcher machine. A lot of things have changed budget-wise, I know, since 3 or 4 months ago, so we felt like it was just good that it'd be a good idea to put it on the agenda and bring up this discussion before the entire commission tonight and see how we opt to proceed with that. The bid was $78,000 for the patcher and some change, and of course we've got an extra garbage truck at the sanitation that we would pull the bed off of and put it on.
Will this pretty much deplete the budget that we had for equipment this year? Where do we stand?
It would pretty well be all, wouldn't it?
It would, if not exceed itself.
Mine's the order just a little bit.
Where are we at with that? Are we still way behind on the patching and?
We've actually made a lot of headway in the past month. We've got several roads done. Of course, this machine, it does a better job than the Colnick does. It is slower than the Colnick is. We're hoping to get to the point that we're using the Durapatchers to pretty well cover the county whenever you get called up, with everything patched. Durapatcher, or oil patcher, or what else you should do. I understand that. We wouldn't know that in a couple of years right now. It's probably just firm up maybe with the mind. I just know the company called me and asked me if we could make a decision.
We did purchase 2 trucks, 2 dump beds, is that correct?
That's correct.
Last auction.
We purchased two F-750 dump flatbed trucks we've been patching with, and we have, those trucks have been just tremendous in getting the patchwork done, and we appreciate y'all allowing us to do that. That was a great asset to the fleet that we have, and has really been doing real well with those.
Correct me if I'm wrong, the flatbed patching that we're doing just don't last. The Durapatcher seems like it, when you patch a hole, seems like it stays there longer. Is that correct?
It does stay longer. Yeah, the Colnick, the patching we use now on the dump beds is better than what we previously used. It is lasting longer. We've gone back to roads that we first did when we first started using that, 10 months ago, Derek, or so? Still in there. The stuff before, they were getting 2 weeks and 4 weeks out of it. It's better. It's not as good as a Durapatcher. Just the material that the coal mix, the dump trucks has got, it's designed, it's just what it is, it's cold mix. You know, it don't ever really just set up hard. The dirt packer uses a material that has to be put down hot, and as soon as it cools off, it's hard. You know, it just,
Which it fills the whole actual gravel.
gravel and rock. Of course, the
Gravel,
cold mix
rock,
does
and-
the layer of gravel there, and
Sure.
the tar layer of gravel.
My concern is, you know, the road we went and looked at last week, you know, we had 100 yards that have been patched 1,000, 10,000 times, you know, and nothing you can do except put asphalt across the top of that. I mean, the dirt patch is not gonna help spots like that. And,
To do.
you know, I feel like we need to look at, you know, doing something else to fix some of those problem spots. You agree with that?
Some of the bigger areas, we just got so many holes. You know, I don't know if it's feasible to run two of these machines or not, but I was really impressed with one that we got, because it actually takes water, you know, if water's in these holes, this thing actually gets the water out and then patches it.
And after it's in there, it don't settle like that stuff. You know, this other stuff, it'll still settle something after a while. Mr. Porter's not here, I guess I'll direct this question in, I believe. All right, but I got thinking about it, the way we did this, we set it up to be good for 12 months. You know, but we were gonna make a decision within, I believe, 90 days or 120 days. But if the commission wants to hold off just a little bit, we could still use that bid for 12 months from the day we opened it. But we could go ahead and if the commission would approve, to send back their bid bond check, because after the 120 days, it's gotta be mutually agreeable anyway for both of us to purchase it. So they wouldn't really be tied, even if we had their bid bond, it really wouldn't have us.
I think, and that's really the only thing in my mind, I would recommend that we wait until the first of our budget year, October 1, so that we have a much clearer picture. The problem is that they're wanting that bid bond back now, and I don't know that we can do that without rejecting the bids, but we have to check with Mr. Porter, I thought he said that we couldn't.
I thought he would get it. I'd seen the request, but I know some of these that we made for like a year, we bought something immediately, and send the bid bond back, and then maybe like 6 months later, we buy another one. You know, we've done that, I think it'll be okay.
How do we want to move to proceed on this?
So you reject the bid and send the bid bond back, and then we can decide later.
That's fine, you know, I know money's high, I mean, we love to have them. It's the way to pay popular.
Sure.
We've got one, which is.
I agree, I mean, we need one, but, you know, there's just, so far we restrict our dollars.
Do we know of any reason why this price would change in the upcoming year?
No, it was the same price we got on the first one, within a few $100s. But, you know, if the price still goes up, stuff like that, it could possibly change.
We don't do much patching during the winter season, do we, or do we?
We actually do, well, that actually works a little better in winter than because it's hot.
Right.
Could we leave it on that and maybe ask the chairman to talk to Mr. Porter and see if we could do it the way I asked,
Right.
and if not, go ahead and reject? Could we do that?
We want to look at that as well, if it works that way. Okay, we'll place this on the agenda next Monday night and have a determination as to which way we need to proceed at that point. If you would, get with me Wednesday, at least by Wednesday, so we can make sure we're following up on that. Okay, next item, resolution initiating federal project.
Okay, this is for County Road 95. If y'all recall back probably a couple of months after y'all came into office, I asked that y'all pass a resolution requesting not reclassify County Road 95. This is the road just directly across Signal 1 from Fort Jackson. North Center Mountain, I'm sorry, got confused with the park. North Center Mountain High School. This is also the road that y'all recall back in the April tornado that so much damage was going on. Believe it or not, the tornado actually blew some of the pavement off of it, so we've had to fix it. But we did get that road reclassified as a minor collector, thus making it eligible for federal money. The federal money we're speaking of to use this, we will receive on October 1st of this year, during next fiscal year. Federal money will be about $500 and something thousand. We actually have about, how much we got left over, Charity? About $350?
Yes.
We've got about $350 left over from previous years. We always putting forward some. So that we've got enough federal funds to cover this, and then of course there's 20% match. But this road, our estimated cost on it is $975,000.
Tell me the road number again, please.
County Road 95. It runs from Alabama Highway 71 to County Road 324. It is 3.876 miles. The road is in poor to fair shape currently.
What do you think the estimate cost?
$975,000.
Where's the vicinity, where's that exactly at? 95?
If you cross from most of that high school, you veer off, no,
Yeah.
no, DeKalb County is what it goes to.
On the south side of 71? Or
The east side,
East side.
but southeast.
yes, I think.
It's like that, that's where, what Mr. Widener said, it's where that tornado went through and it done some damage, and, it is in bad shape.
Our plan of work on this road is, the roadway is 18 feet, most of the way through, so our plan of work is to widen and resurface and track and drive, get up to 20-foot travel way.
Do you have to do the whole road? I mean, you're looking at $1 million, our part's $250,000,
The part that's really bad is about the whole road.
got the whole road.
Yeah, it's about 3 miles of it is really
I
bad.
mean,
So
we got a lot of
bad.
bad roads, I mean, even in my, all of our district, probably in my district, that's probably one of the worst ones.
Yeah. It was actually initially, a part of it, which about 8/10 of it, was actually initially classified as a minor collector, and I don't know why they didn't reclassify the rest of it. And that's what got me, when I noticed that on the map, that's what got me thinking, well, we're not getting to reclassify the rest of it. And the rest of it is basically just got a lot of traffic on it, but just a county road, it's been road to death and hadn't been paved in years, and patched to death, and got a lot of base failures in it.
Was this road eligible for A-trip projects, or did we put it in?
No, it's not. It has to be a major collector to be eligible for A-trip. It's only eligible for our standard federal money, which is as a minor collector.
And we do have the money for our match.
We have the money right now. Let me go ahead and back up. This project will not occur until next calendar year. We're just having to initiate it right now to get everything kind of started. We're probably 6 to 8 months away. So this is gonna be in the next budget year when we're having to determine our match. And we always try to allow for that when we're doing our budget, which we talked about this morning. We try to get that money in the line item.
Money's not been set aside for it, though, it's like the acre funds.
Well, the money that he just said that he had available for the federal projects left over, do you have what account is this in?
No, this is at our job.
I don't know of any money that's been left over that we
The
have.
$300,000 is our federal allotment account that's kept at ALDOT in Montgomery.
Oh,
We
okay.
have an account down there that's, every county's got an account that they keep up with the federal money that we have. We get $500,000 every year, October 1st. This last year, we done County Road 11, is that right? And County Road 11, it was kind of a smaller road that had some left over.
So 750 of that's going towards this, is that what you're saying, or is that?
That's where we get our 25%.
That's the
right?
80%, that's where the 80% comes from.
Right, okay.
We have to get the 20% out of county
Use
funds.
that money for matching. We can, it's left over.
We've got about 800,000 that cannot be used for matching money, just like Mr. Dillon said. We have to come up with that, just like we did in this A-trip thing. We have to come up with that from local funds.
Okay,
I apologize.
no, that's fine.
What's needed from the commission to proceed with this?
The only thing we need at this time is, we have a standard resolution that we will bring to y'all next week, and it's just a standard thing that says that Jackson County Commission wants to initiate the subject project, and we'll refer to this project.
Can we do this at the end of this month, or does it need to be done next week?
We can do it in this month.
Okay, that
It's
way.
not, we try to get a jump start on all these, but, you know, they've got, it's a certain time on down the line, if we lose this money, if we don't use it. The only part, the 500,000 getting in October is not a concern. The 300,000 we got left over, we lose it next May. So you can see we got the, we probably, you know, if we start right now, we're gonna be spring,
Oh, we have, yeah, we have.
but we have to use that 300,000 by next May. They give
When
you,
would we plan to do the project?
it'll probably be springtime, if we start right now.
If there's no
Looks
objection,
like
I'd
Chair.
like to
Oh,
wait till
yes,
the month.
definitely.
So we're gonna put it on the 26th.
Right, to confirm the funds and where those, so we can report where those funds will be coming from and how we pay for that.
Normally, we've got
where
around
those-
116 before roads.
Okay.
That's where they, a lot of times they come.
And that
from.
may be, we do have some funds there in 116, so we look at that. Is that okay with everyone to do it that way? And then does that cause any problems?
I don't foresee it causing any problem at all, no, sir. That's with it. Like I said, we're just trying to get a good jump start on it, because it is so much, we've got to do a lot of work, the county forces have, just to get it to where it meets federal requirements, so we've already kind of started on that a little bit, but, you know, I don't foresee any problem.
If you could get a copy of that resolution to us.
We will, yeah. Yeah, we'll get all that paperwork and do that to you.
Okay. Any other questions or comments on that? Okay, surplus equipment?
Oh, yes, sir, y'all, well, if y'all got a list, I sent up a list, looked like this. I got it. We've been able to, as y'all mentioned, we've purchased some stuff to replace some very junky stuff that we had. The flatbed trucks, some pickups, sign truck, and then, we've got a lot of stuff here that we feel like we can surplus. We want to ask the commission to surplus this list and, allow us to put it on gov deals.
Question? What's this new old stock mean?
Well, that's our shop foreman's way of describing some new tires that we have there that are no longer needed. They're outdated, don't have any equipment that it fit. Items number 8 and 9, they're not actually equipment, they're engine and transmission. The engine's bad, the transmission got problems. This is the one that came out of that Sterling dump truck that we replaced, engine. We took the engine and transmission out of the Sterling that was wrecked and put it in a good Sterling, and this is leftover.
Questions or comments? We want to place any revenues from this back into the equipment account, would that be? Any other questions or comments? Place this on next Monday night, also then. Okay. Next item, trust bridge at Estel Court.
Yes, that's correct. E and F kind of go together, as y'all aware of. I've already, I hope y'all still got this contract, and I was gonna bring it, I had info, and I forgot, I typed this out to y'all last time. It's the same identical thing. Mr. Porter has, reviewed it. We went back and forth with it on emails a couple of times. This is the final version, if the commission chooses to approve it. And this is just basically an agreement between, the Nature Conservancy, U.S. Fish and Wildlife, and Jackson County regarding the financing of the bridge, or the pipe replacement with the Trust Bridge on County Road 140. As y'all aware, we had a community meeting up there last Wednesday, and if we choose to go with this, I've also, as y'all recall, there's some concerns about the width of the bridge we're looking at. We've got this in your package. I received this from U.S. Bridge this morning out of Ohio. They're the company that's already, they was the only bidder on the Trust Bridge that we originally bid, which was 14 foot wide and 80 foot long. After meeting up Wednesday, I think some of the residents had asked that we consider making this bridge 18 foot wide in order to accommodate some of the farmers in the area. And since that time, I've been working with U.S. Bridge, and it's going to cost about $32,000 more to increase that bridge, that 18 foot will accommodate everybody, which, as I was talking to Commissioner Level, which is a lot less than I thought it was expecting.
How much more money are we looking at? Because I know concrete's by others, of course, the others is us.
It does, yeah. Commissioner, I anticipate us spending, I had it figured up, I anticipate us spending actual money out in materials and stuff, about $50,000 or $60,000. And then we'll have, our labor and equipment on top of that. Normally, this rule of thumb is, the labor and equipment materials, will probably cost you, probably another $150,000, if you add it all up, We've already got the labor and equipment.
Does that include this additional cost for the, making this 18-foot bridge?
Yeah,
That 60,000 estimate, does that include that additional cost?
no, so that 60,000, just the concrete and steel that we have to buy to build the abutments and the port deck with on the
Approaches and, for the approaches, So we'll be looking at, 80 to 90,000,
Yeah,
the county's obligation.
yeah, not that.
And some of that. Okay.
And we'll try to keep that down. Hopefully that's on the high side. I hate to get it low, but I think that would be.
To move forward with this project, I think we've already accepted the bids, is that correct? Did we accept?
We just did, no, so we hadn't accepted anything, it's still, and since it was just one bid, we can go ahead and award based on this 18-foot.
Right.
So you can negotiate for different stuff, and since they're the only vendor that actually had interest in bidding.
For this particular project, any funds that we did spend, of course, public works, anything additional that we had to pull would be from 116. Some of that stuff we can pull from our public works gas tax, but majority of it comes from 116, which is our capital improvement fund. Any questions or comments on this? It is a good deal in the fact that the Conservancy is pretty much funding pretty much all the project, or a big chunk of the project, to do this. Any other questions or comments? How do we want to proceed? We want ready to move forward with this next Monday night? Maybe determination. Okay, so we'll place this on the agenda for next Monday night as well. Anything else on that?
One more thing on that, the company that, we're trying to get this thing done by December 31st. And I have spoken to I haven't heard back from the school bus folks either. I think he's still out on vacation, I'll put a call on them. US Bridge, the company that's doing the bridge, had asked, he said if I could get him a letter of intent, maybe signed by the chairman, that we anticipated, moving forward with this project and anticipated awarding the bridge next Monday night. He said if we could get that to him like tomorrow, they could go ahead and start getting some shop going ready for us, so we could start designing our abutments and getting all that ready. So if that's okay with the commission, I'd like to prepare that letter and I'll bring it to do with Mr. Hodges in the morning.
Understanding that it's only as good as the.
Yeah, that's what I told him, I just, that's what it is, it's a letter
Takes
of
a
intent.
decision
Right
by
now,
the
we,
commission.
I think from what we all said, we all intend on doing that, so, it just kind of give them the ability, they're not gonna start building the bridge, they're just gonna start doing some shop drawings now. Go forward with it.
Any objection to doing that?
No, sir.
Okay, all right, thank you, sir. Okay, the next item regarding the license inspector position, you have in your packets a copy of the license inspector job description, and this has been brought up several times from different commissioners about looking into this, so just open it up for discussion at this time as to how we might want to proceed with this.
I'm all in favor of proceeding with this, advertising qualifications, willing to provide on motor vehicle. I personally don't think that's fair. I don't think it should be in there.
Which one?
That's just my opinion.
Number on the last page,
Number
number 5.
5,
And we'll take, if everyone will, we can review this, and next Monday before we, if we choose to proceed, before we proceed, make any changes to this that need to be made.
I feel like we're missing a lot of revenue, not having.
Looks to me like number 9 and 10 is duplicated.
It is. far as I know, this is the one that's in place, so we can make any changes to this before we proceed, simply taking that out and removing that last item.
I agree, I think it's something that we need to do. We get the ball rolling on.
I'd like to see it placed on the agenda myself.
I think, you looked at some numbers and it looks like it's a position that would definitely pay for itself and bring in some much needed extra revenue, that we're not currently collecting. So from that aspect, it's definitely a very, good decision, I believe. Are there any other comments or questions on it? If you would, like I said, review this job description, if you would make any notes, either email to me before next Monday, or we can mention next Monday before we proceed and make those changes and adopt this. One thing we have actually advertised for this position previously, would we want to advertise again or take from the previous applicants?
I think we better have to advertise again, I mean.
I think in all fairness, that would be best, everybody can.
Okay. So we need to make that decision next Monday night as well. So if you would, we'll place this on the agenda, be prepared to advertise, and any changes to this, job description that you may have, we'll get those changes made for next Monday night.
How far did we go with this the last, when we had the applicant, did we interview any applicants?
We advertised, accepted the applications, and after we closed it, that was it. Okay, any other questions or comments? All right, we'll proceed like that. Next item is regarding the county grant writer, again, another item which has been brought up a few times. Comments or questions on this item?
Would this be a as-needed position?
There's several different ways to do it. I think a more effective way would be to have someone that could focus on it full-time. And I would also recommend, before we committed ourselves to hiring one, that we looked at other organizations to see if they'd be willing to participate in this. I would hope that we would, if we did do this, it would be someone that could write grants for everyone in the county, fire departments, police departments, the towns, parks, whoever was looking for a grant. And with that, hopefully, some of those other groups would help participate and support this position.
I agree.
There are offices in the courthouse.
Right there, yes, in all offices.
That's something that we've needed for a long time. I feel like, well, I know for a fact after investigating, we missed a lot of grants. And the packs that we could have got if we would have had that person in place. So I'm 100% behind in the full-time grant writer.
Both of these positions should be self-funded. We should bear fruit by having them, I believe.
I agree.
Any other questions or comments? As far as proceeding with the grant writer, like I said, what I'd like to do is get with Mr. Porter, once he gets back, to confirm some of the ways that we can look at either contract or how we want to put the job description together on that, and maybe have something at the end of the month that we can look at and work on. Would that be appropriate?
You get with him and then put it on the 26th.
Well, what I'd like to see, if this is good with y'all, I'd like to see a meeting where we can go. Madison County's got one, there's several, Coleman County's got one, there's several that already have this position. Maybe go over and just speak with them, kind of understand the way they do it. I know a lot of grant writers are based on percentages. I know there's some that's based on just employee salaries. I think we should attend maybe one place as a group and see how it works. And I think we can learn a lot.
I can see about arranging that.
I think it'd be a good idea.
We'll tentatively plan for the 26th, pending some of these other things, then, if that's okay. Any other questions or comments on this? Okay. Last item on the agenda is regarding board appointments. We have been trying to kind of figure out when these board appointments come up, and I think the best way is going to be to get a copy of all the bylaws from the different organizations, which we've started to collect some of them. At this point in time, though, we know of, is it 2 or do we know of 3 for the 911 board? I know of 2 for the 911 board
Marshall Jackson, mental,
Marshall Jackson Mental Health Authority Board. So what I'd like to do, I'd like to set in the standard process to be that we announce these positions hopefully 2 or 3 weeks before they actually are, the term is up, and allow people to submit applications or a letter saying that they'd like to be on that. We've done that for 1 or 2, but I'd like to ask that we do that officially from this point forward, and I'll try to get information on which of these boards are coming up. We do have another, I don't know if you received a copy of this, I can get everybody a copy. It shows what's coming up this month, but as was mentioned, our Port Authority, the North Jackson Industrial Development Authority are 2 other boards that look like some appointments have come up on. And I need to investigate the status of those boards and where they stand. So at this time, I'd like to announce the 2 positions on the 911 and the 1 position on the, again, Jackson Marshall Mental Health Authority Board, and make that our standard procedure. So if there's no objection to that process, we can ask that they submit anything by the 19th, that we have anyone that's interested in participating in either of those boards submit a letter to us by the 19th of August, 4:30 p.m., and then we'll have those proceed on the 26th. Is that proceed that way? And like I said, I will try to get some information on these other boards and see what we can do to find out who needs to be appointed and get this board back organized. Okay, any other questions or comments? All right, that concludes the items on our agenda, so we'll move on to our reports. Mr. Widener, anything else?
Got one more thing, concerning some work in Mr. Miller's district. Y'all recall Langston Gap, we closed it down a couple of, well, I believe it was Wednesday of last week, Tuesday of last week. Been working on it, run into some pretty substantial problems beneath the surface. We've been working on that, but you know, this thing's been being patched over the years, and you know, you go in there and you patch little hot nicks. We found places where hot nicks was 4 foot thick, so that's how much it's settled over the years, you know, putting it on there. So we dug all that out and trying to fix it right this time, but hopefully we should be able to open this road back up, Mr. Miller, by the end of this week, hopefully Thursday. Sometimes what we're shooting for. I know you've got a couple of calls, and I don't know if the commission office has been getting any or not. I know we fielded some at my office, but just want to make y'all aware of that hopefully we'll have it open in a couple of days.
Thank you. Mr. Miller? Mr. Duffy? Mr. Venable? Mr. Ladwell?
no, sir.
Make one mention, you do have a copy of 2 proposals, one actually within the RFP that was put out, Amoresco Group, and we have a proposal from Jake Marshall Service. It does not fall within the same guidelines, but they did want to submit something, so I'd ask you to take a look at that. If we're ready, we could vote on this next week. If you want to take a deeper look at this other alternative, we can wait. So if you would, let me know sometime this week on how you want to proceed, and we can move forward with that, and that's on the energy savings audit. With that, that concludes the items on our agenda, so we will entertain a motion to adjourn. Motion and a second. All those in favor say aye. Those opposed say no.